The phone buzzed in Emily Carter's trembling hands as she stared down at the screen in absolute horror. Oh my God, no, no, no. Her heart pounded like it was trying to break free from her chest. She had been sitting on the worn-out sofa of her cramped apartment, laughing with her roommate Sarah, when it happened. A silly dare, a glass of wine too many, and the courage of a Friday night gone wrong had pushed her into typing a message she would never, under normal circumstances, dare to send. It was a dirty, reckless text, one meant for Jason, the bartender she'd been flirting with for weeks. She had even added an emoji she never thought she'd have the guts to use. Her finger had hovered over the send button, cheeks burning, until Sarah's mischievous nudge tipped her over the edge. Do it, Em. You've been crushing on him forever. What's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? The worst was staring her in the face. Because instead of Jason's number, her clumsy, wine-tipsy fingers had selected the contact one line above his in her phone, Alexander Stone. Not Jason the bartender. Not her best friend. Not her mom. Alexander Stone, the billionaire CEO of Stone International. Her boss. Her ice-cold, terrifying, impossibly intimidating boss. The man whose gray eyes could silence an entire boardroom. The man known for tearing contracts apart with one glance. The man who had employees whispering about him in the elevator, never daring to breathe too loudly in his presence. The man who barely acknowledged Emily's existence despite the fact that she had worked as his executive assistant for nearly a year. She had just sent that text to him. Emily buried her face in her hands, groaning. Sarah was howling with laughter beside her, practically falling off the sofa. This isn't funny, Emily hissed. He's going to fire me. No, he's going to sue me. Oh God, what if he calls HR? What if he? Her phone buzzed. Her blood froze. She looked down, every nerve in her body tightening as if she'd touched a live wire. One new message. From Alexander Stone. Her fingers hovered, her throat tight. She didn't want to open it, but she had to. With a sharp inhale, she tapped the screen. Greater than Alexander Stone. Wrong number, I presume. Emily's stomach dropped to her knees. It wasn't just that he had responded. It was the calm, clipped tone. That cold politeness that dripped with disdain. She could almost hear his voice, deep and precise, cutting through her like a blade. Her thumbs scrambled to type a reply. Greater than Emily, Mr. Stone, I am so sorry. That message was not meant for you. Please disregard. Please, please forget it ever happened. She hit send, her whole body trembling. Sarah bit her lip, no longer laughing, because the situation had shifted from funny to terrifying in an instant. Emily sat frozen for a minute. No reply came. Maybe, just maybe, he would let it go. Maybe he would chalk it up to a stupid mistake, ignore it, and tomorrow would carry on as usual. Her phone buzzed again. She flinched. Greater than Alexander Stone, do you always send that kind of message to people, Ms. Carter? Her eyes widened. He knew it was her. He hadn't just brushed it off. He was pressing, probing, playing with her. Panic flared hot in her chest. She typed as fast as she could. Greater than Emily. No. Never. I swear it was a mistake. Please don't think. Alexander Stone. Enough. We'll discuss this on Monday. Her breath caught. Monday. At the office. In his office. Emily dropped the phone like it had burned her. Sarah whispered, "You're dead." Monday morning. Emily spent the weekend in a storm of dread. Every time her phone buzzed, she jumped. Every time she thought of the message, her face burned. She drafted resignation letters in her head, rehearsed apologies in the mirror, and even Googled, "Can you get sued for accidentally texting your boss something inappropriate?" By Monday, she was a wreck. Her black pencil skirt and blouse clung to her clammy skin as she walked into the gleaming glass tower of Stone International. The lobby's marble floors seemed colder than usual, the security guards' nods more judgmental. She clutched her coffee like a lifeline, praying Alexander Stone would be too busy with his billion-dollar empire to even remember what had happened. Maybe he had forgotten. Maybe he didn't care. But when she reached her desk outside his office, his voice cut through the air. "Ms. Carter." Inside, her knees wobbled. She smoothed her skirt, pasted on a professional smile, and stepped into his office. The room was as intimidating as the man himself, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, dark mahogany shelves lined with law books and deal binders, a massive steel desk at its center. And behind it sat Alexander Stone. He was even more dangerous up close. Perfectly tailored charcoal suit, tie knotted with precision, jaw sharp enough to cut glass. His gray eyes lifted from the papers in front of him and locked onto hers. Close the door. Her throat went dry. She obeyed, the soft click echoing like a prison lock. He leaned back in his chair, studying her. Tell me, Ms. Carter, do you make a habit of inappropriate communication with your employer? Her face flamed. And no, sir, never. It was an accident. I meant to send it to. She stopped, realizing she couldn't admit she had meant it for a bartender. That didn't sound much better. To someone else, she finished lamely. A ghost of a smirk flickered at the corner of his mouth. So you admit the message was real? Emily's jaw dropped. What? No, I mean yes, it was real, but not for you. He raised a hand, silencing her instantly. His presence was like gravity, inescapable, pulling her in. I should fire you, he said evenly. Stone International has no room for unprofessionalism. Her chest tightened. The words cut sharper than she expected. She needed this job. Rent, bills, her little sister's college tuition, it all depended on her paycheck. Please, she whispered. Mr. Stone, it was one stupid mistake. I'll do anything to make it right. Please don't fire me. For a long moment, he just stared at her. His eyes searched her face like he was dissecting her every weakness, every lie, every truth. Finally, he leaned forward, resting his elbows on the desk. Anything, he repeated softly. Her breath caught. The way he said it wasn't casual. It carried weight. A test. Emily's pulse hammered. Why yes. Silence stretched. Then, shockingly, he said. You're coming with me. Tonight. Her mouth fell open. What? He slid a sleek black envelope across the desk. She hesitated, then picked it up. Inside was an invitation, an exclusive charity gala, the kind of event where millionaires and celebrities mingled under crystal chandeliers. You'll accompany me as my assistant, he said smoothly. Take notes. Manage introductions. Nothing more. Do you understand? Her mind spun. Why her? Why not one of his other staff, someone more experienced? Why, after threatening to fire her, was he taking her into his world? She swallowed hard. I understand. His gaze lingered on her, unreadable, before he dismissed her with a wave. That will be all. Emily stumbled out of his office, clutching the envelope to her chest. Her heart wouldn't stop racing. Sarah was waiting for her call that evening, eager for updates. When Emily told her, Sarah gasped. Do you realize what this means? He didn't fire you. He invited you. That's not normal. Emily chewed her lip, staring at the invitation again. I don't know what it means. But I have a bad feeling about it. And she was right too. Because Alexander Stone wasn't the kind of man who did anything by accident. And the last thing he was about to do, was forget the text. Emily had never felt more out of place in her life. Her reflection in the ornate mirror of her tiny bedroom was a desperate attempt at elegance, a borrowed navy gown from Sarah, heels that pinched her toes, and a clutch she bought on clearance. The charity gala invitation sat on her desk, mocking her. She told herself it was just work. She'd stand in the background, take notes, and stay out of Alexander Stone's way. But her stomach twisted with dread. Because deep down, she knew this wasn't just about work. The memory of her boss's words from his office echoed in her head. Anything. He had said it with such precision, such weight. Her phone buzzed. Greater than Alexander Stone, the car is waiting. Don't be late. Emily grabbed her clutch, exhaled shakily, and left her apartment. The gala. The black limousine swept her through glittering city streets to a grand hotel that looked more like a palace. Gold-lit chandeliers spilled warm light onto marble floors. Cameras flashed outside as celebrities and moguls arrived in tailored tuxedos and shimmering gowns. And there he was. Alexander Stone stood at the entrance, flawless in a black suit that seemed stitched into his frame. His silver cufflinks glinted beneath the spotlights. Women turned their heads, men stiffened in his presence, but his gray eyes were locked solely on Emily as she stepped out of the car. For a second, her legs nearly gave out. You're late, he said flatly, offering his arm. Emily slipped her hand through it, her heart racing. By 2 minutes. 2 minutes, he murmured, leading her inside, is 2 minutes too long in my world. The moment they entered the ballroom, all eyes fell on them. Emily felt hundreds of gazes prick her skin, questions, whispers, speculations. Who was she? Why was she on the arm of Alexander Stone, the man known for keeping his personal life locked in steel? Smile, he commanded softly. She obeyed, forcing her lips into a curve as they moved through the glittering crowd. He introduced her simply as, my assistant, but the looks they received were anything but professional. At first, her role seemed straightforward: hand him documents, remind him of names, jot down keynotes from conversations. But then, something shifted. Alexander leaned down, his voice low against her ear. Do you see the man near the fountain? Tall, gray beard. Emily followed his gaze. Yes. His name is Victor Hale. He's been trying to negotiate a merger with us. Tonight, you'll intercept him before he leaves. Keep him occupied until I arrive. Her eyes widened. Me. I don't even know what to say to a billionaire. Then improvise, Alexander said, his tone brooking no argument. Consider this your test. Before she could protest, he was gone, swallowed into the crowd of board members and investors. Emily's palms sweated as she approached Victor Hale, who looked like he belonged on the cover of a finance magazine. She stumbled through small talk, nearly choking on her words, but to her surprise, he laughed. He listened. He seemed charmed. By the time Alexander appeared at her side, Victor was smiling warmly. Alexander, he said, clapping him on the shoulder. Sharp assistant you have here. Intelligent. Quick-witted. Alexander's lips twitched, the faintest hint of approval, as Victor excused himself. Emily turned to him, stunned. Did I just help you close a deal? You didn't ruin it, he corrected smoothly. Which is more than I expected. She gaped at him, but before she could retort, the orchestra swelled and couples began to fill the dance floor. To her shock, Alexander held out his hand. Dance with me. Her breath hitched. I don't think that's a good idea. His eyes narrowed, daring her to refuse. And so, trembling, she placed her hand in his. The moment his arms circled her waist, heat flared through her body. He was taller, broader, and far more commanding than she remembered. They moved with effortless grace, his strength guiding her, his eyes never leaving hers. But then, he spoke. Tell me, Ms. Carter, that message, was it truly a mistake? Her blood froze. Her mouth went dry. Yes, she whispered. It was never meant for you. His grip tightened ever so slightly. Pity. Her head jerked up, shocked. His expression was unreadable, but something flickered in his eyes, something dark, restrained, yet burning. Before she could respond, a flash went off. Paparazzi had caught them, dancing, close, intimate. Emily's stomach twisted. This will be in every paper tomorrow. After the gala. Hours later, after endless conversations and forced smiles, Alexander dismissed the car that had brought them and insisted on driving her home himself. The silence in the car was thick, charged. Emily's nerves buzzed as the city lights blurred past. Finally, she blurted, "Why did you bring me tonight?" Really? He glanced at her, his jaw tight. Because I needed to know. Know what? He pulled up outside her apartment building, putting the car in park. Then he turned to her fully, his gaze searing into hers. If that message was truly a mistake, or if it revealed something you've been too afraid to admit. Her heart stopped. You think I wanted to send you that? Yes. His voice was low, certain. Because I've seen the way you look at me when you think I'm not watching. Her breath caught. Heat rushed to her cheeks. She wanted to deny it, to laugh, to push him away, but the words tangled in her throat. Because maybe, just maybe, he was right. Alexander leaned closer, his presence overwhelming. You fear me, Ms. Carter. But you also want me. Don't you? Emily's pulse thundered. She opened her mouth, then shut it. Before she could speak, he pulled back sharply, his expression locking into steel again. Go inside, he said coldly. Confused, breathless, trembling, she obeyed. She climbed the steps to her apartment, but when she turned back, the car was already gone. The morning after. Emily expected gossip, scandal, whispers at the office. And she was right. By 9 a.m., photos of her dancing with Alexander Stone were splashed across tabloids. Her coworkers stared. HR called. The phones buzzed nonstop. And then, his office door opened. Ms. Carter. Inside. She stepped in, bracing for the worst. Instead, He slid a newspaper across the desk. The headline blared, Alexander Stone seen with mystery woman. You've caused quite the stir, he said. Her throat tightened. I didn't mean to. I'll resign if this damages your reputation. Resign. His eyes flashed dangerously. No, Ms. Carter. You'll do the opposite. She blinked. What do you mean? He stood, circling her slowly like a predator assessing prey. The board is pressuring me to show stability. To appear human. A relationship keeps the sharks at bay. And now, thanks to you, the public already believes I've found someone. Her mouth fell open. You want me to pretend to be your girlfriend? Precisely. His lips curved faintly. You wanted to keep your job. This is the price. Emily's heart raced. Fake dating. With him. The ice-cold billionaire who terrified her. This is insane, she whispered. Perhaps, he said softly, stepping closer. But tell me, Ms. Carter, when I held you last night, when you sent that message, was it truly insane? Or was it the truth you've been running from? Her breath caught. His face was inches from hers now, his scent filling her lungs, his gaze pinning her in place. The tension crackled like fire between them. And for the first time, Emily realized something terrifying. Alexander Stone wasn't shocked by her message. He was waiting for it.